Happy Wednesday and welcome to Soulibration. I am your host, Shameika Rhymes. I am super excited about tonight's show, y'all. But first, let me know where you're watching from. Drop that in the chat and be sure tonight, if you have any questions, again, drop that in the chat and share this with your network because you never know who may need to see this show because actually they're not going to want to miss tonight's show because tonight on Soulibration, Calvin Richardson, the Prince of Soul, is here to talk about how he stays grounded and balanced in this demanding world of music. And he's going to share some insight into his mental health journey, his fitness journey, nutrition, even his vocal journey, all the things. So you don't want to miss that. Let me tell you a little bit about Calvin. Like I said, he is known as the Prince of Soul. He's a Grammy-nominated R&B artist, celebrated for his smooth vocals, heartfelt lyrics, and timeless sound. He hails from here in North Carolina. He's also a North Carolina Music Hall of Fame inductee, and he has a career that spans over 2 decades, and he's released numerous chart-topping hits and albums. He's captivating audiences with his dedication to authentic soul music. And his 9th studio album, 5 years later, is out right now. So make sure you get that. So let's bring Calvin on.
Hello, hello.
Hi, welcome to Soulibration.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It is good to see you. We go way, 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 way back, but we won't talk about how far back.
Way back. Just leave it at that, right?
So, as I was mentioning that you've been in the industry for 25 plus years, right? So how do you prioritize your mental health while managing the pressures of the music industry? Because I think we see a lot of, just as bystanders, the outside looking in, we see a lot of what looks like could be a lot of pressure.
Right. Well, I definitely had to, over the years, figure that part out, how to, prioritize that, because my mental health over everything else with so much going on is, probably one of the most important parts because, without having the right head, being in the right head space, my creativity is affected, you know what I'm saying? Just having time to myself to, to regroup from all of the dealings with the shows every weekend and the people. And, sometimes you just got to have a little time for yourself to kind of woosah. So all of that stuff is important, and taking time out during the day to just for myself, where I don't talk to anybody on the phone, won't take any calls or texts, and, stay away from social media so much. I know a lot of us, are kind of glued to our phones these days, but it requires a lot of you. You know what I mean? Your attention span is, it's all of that stuff is affected by those things. So I, kind of found a way to manage, my way through all of that, and so to make sure that I am mentally sound when it comes to my mental health.
Okay.
Of course, physical health stuff goes. You already know. I won't. I stay in the gym.
Let me shout out a couple people that are tuning in. I see Charlotte, North Carolina in the chat, and I see Garland, Texas. Welcome, y'all. So are there well, you mentioned some of the specific practices that you do to stay mentally focused and strong, which is good, like kind of limiting the social media and the talking on the phone and the text. And what about, when it comes to what other self-care things do you do? Do you meditate or anything like that?
I mean, my quiet time, my time to myself is a form of meditation, but I don't necessarily meditate. I just like peace and quiet, like just to be shut off, you know what I mean, from everything and everybody for, certain periods of time during the week, at least a couple of times a week where I just don't deal with anything but myself and my thoughts,
So when you've got like demanding periods, like if you're on the road back to back to back to back, or you've got these album release parties, because shout out to 5 years later, the album, and you've got like all these things coming up back to back to back. How do you handle that stress aside from, taking that time out for yourself?
I mean, after a while, like that it becomes second nature. You know what I'm saying? I know that I got those are the things I need to let people know that the album is out there. I got to do these parties, I got to do these shows. That's all. That's a part of my normal um, schedule that comes with doing what I do. But so you know what I'm saying? That's a part of it. I actually look forward to it. I enjoy it. I love being around people as well as I do having the time to myself. You know what I'm saying? I probably enjoy people more than I do having that space away from people. But at the same time, it's as important to me to manage those things as far as marketing, promotions, being out there. 5 years later is available right now, so I need to let as many people know that it's out there as possible. So I have to stay dedicated to that.
Well, have you noticed over the years, because like I said, you've been doing this for a while, but have you noticed a shift in the conversation about mental health within the music industry?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the conversation, there are a lot of people that have come to realize that that's a big part of longevity. Paying attention to your mental health, and you know, for the most part, what I found that most people kind of have to. There's no one way to do it. You have to find the thing that works for you when it comes to your mental health, and the things that you have to do, different regimens that you may take. What works for me may not work for the next person, but then again, it may work just as well for the next person as it does me. And I know that it will, but I'm saying like just the way that they do them in the order that they choose to do them in. You know what I'm saying? Like I think for me to be away, to step away from my phone, or to just kind of, don't take any calls or don't talk. Sometimes I don't want to use my voice. I just let my voice just rest my voice. So that way, I mean, just not being around anybody, that's the best way for me not to have to use my voice, to have to communicate back and forth for a certain period of time. But everybody, just they have to find their own way. And like I said, I have found that most people do realize that their mental health, uh, when it comes to the business, is definitely a priority.
Okay. Well, you mentioned that you stay in the gym. What motivates you to keep up that fitness routine, and what are you doing in the gym? Tell us that. Tell us how you stay in shape.
I mean, I have a trainer. I'm in the gym 3 days a week, and so I work out for like an hour. Each of those 3 days, I do it back to back. I found putting my days to work out. If I split them up, sometimes it'll break it up. You know what I mean? Something may
Yeah.
come up, and I don't get a chance to get in the gym. So instead of having one day in between each day that I work out, it may go to 2 days, and that 2 days, if it go to 3 days, it's over. I might not get to work out that week, so I put them all together. And so, and having a trainer, somebody to report to, for me, it's better than just being, what I'm saying, just relax. I go to the gym whenever I choose to go to the gym. I like keeping a schedule, what I'm saying. And so, yeah, but I mean, when I get in the gym, I work out. He don't let me off the hook. My trainer don't let me off the hook. When it comes to working out, when I show up, I'm there. So I got to do what I got to do. Whatever it is that you put on the schedule while I'm there to do, that's what I do. And switching it up rather than doing the same thing all the time is important. But if you look good, you know, uh, you feel better about how you present yourself. A lot of that is connected with your mental health as well, because what you think about yourself um, is super important when you have to be in a position like I'm in. You know what I'm saying? And um, how other people see you. You know what I mean? It makes a difference.
Okay. I see a question in the chat from Pastor Francis. She wants to know, how did you come to the place where you knew you needed to take care of your mental health?
Uh, I mean, this is a stressful business, and yeah, and so just dealing with the demands of being in the business, and I have my own business as well. I am the business, Calvin Richardson Enterprises. Everything's kind of orbits around me, and so I have people that so many people that I have to deal with, you know what I'm saying, on a day-to-day basis, that work for me. And so I think, you know, I realized when I was working on this, trying to work on this last project, when I started 2 years ago, about 2.5 years ago, that I had so much on my plate that, you know, I couldn't, you know, I guess I didn't have writer's block, but I couldn't, my creativity just didn't flow like I was used to it flowing. And so I realized, like I said, that I had to take some of the things off of my plate. Like as far as I was touring every weekend, I was gone. I had, you know, I was every week I get done with one tour, I go to another one, and you know, I had to find time for myself to take that break, to step away from it, and just kind of. When I did that and stopped traveling as much, I took off for like 6 months to do it, and in that 6 months, I started resting more. Finding myself, you know what I'm saying, relaxing and finding other ways to regroup, you know what I'm saying, regenerate my voice and all that stuff. And so I think that's when I realized, when I first started working on this album, probably like 2.5 years ago, that mentally I was kind of pulled all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah, it sounds like you were headed towards burnout. We've had a show on that before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, a lot of people, like I said, they think writer's block is just, you know, saying it's just a block in your creativity, but you know, that's a mental thing as well.
Hmm. Absolutely. So, what role does nutrition play in your overall health? I know we've done several shows about nutrition and diet, gut health, all those things. So, what role does it play in your overall wellness plan?
Well, you know, food, your nutrition, you know what I'm saying, the nutritional value of the food that you put inside of your body, it determines how you feel, like how your body feels, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely, uh, it play a big role in mine, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely on a pretty specific diet, you know, try to keep them calories down, counting macros and proteins and carbs and fat, you know, just monitoring what I'm putting inside of my body, because as they say, you are pretty much what you eat. And
Hmm.
so, and that's, you know, that's just not something that people say. It's real. And so I pay attention to that. Like I said, I hired my trainer, and my trainer does a lot of, started out doing a lot of food prepping for me. And now, you know, I got to the point where, you know, I'm pretty much, I know what I need to do now, you know what I mean? Without having someone cook for me and tell me how much I can eat and blah, blah, blah. I pretty much got that figured out now, but it's important.
So, you don't have any like guilty pleasures of a snack, like a favorite snack that you like? Let me just get just a little bit.
Of course. We just had Thanksgiving, right? So I'm trying to get on. I'm trying to bounce back from that. You know, I ate a lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't have eaten. Uh, oh man, I probably overindulged in it. In which, you know, what I'm saying, like it is. Sometimes you can allow yourself to enjoy certain things, but you know, you have to
Yeah.
watch. Yeah, you have to definitely watch that. I do.
Me too, in moderation.
Everything in
Everybody,
my
yes, everybody, don't forget, if you have questions, drop it in the chat. While Calvin is here, make sure you get them questions in. Um, let's see. So when you're on the road, do you take the time to work out while you're on the road, or you just stick to those 3 days when you're back home to work out? Or are you working out like at the hotel or in the room, anything like that?
Definitely, when I'm on the road, I work out, even if I've gotten my 3 days in, which normally my schedule is as such that I'll have my 3 days workout before it's time for me to get back on the road to go back out. But even when I get out and I'm in the hotel rooms, like it just working out kind of calms me down. You know, I'm in a place where it kind of focuses me, helps me to
Mhm.
focus, you know, on
Okay.
the head. So yeah, I work out every time I'm in the hotel.
See, I wish I could be like that. But that is not my ministry. I
But I
walk
got
by
to
the
the point
gym.
where I feel like when I walk into a hotel, I'm supposed to work out. I gotta work out just because I'm in the hotel. It's like walking in the gym. Like you can't just go and just walk in the gym and walk out. I couldn't do that. So it's like a hotel is a big gym,
Right.
small workout room. You know what I'm saying?
So we were talking about this a little earlier, but you also mentioned something about the vocal rest. Now, I know when I interviewed you for Check the Rhymes, gosh, 5 years ago,
Yeah.
when Gold Dust came out, um, you were having some challenges with your voice then. Can you talk a little bit about that and how it all connects to your, just overall wellness?
Yeah, absolutely. I lost my voice. Like you said, it's probably like about 6, 7 years ago. Uh, at a performance, I was down in Atlanta. But it was a number of sequences that led up to that. When we was doing sound check, it was very cold, and they had the big garage door up, and cold and freezing cold, and singing that it just don't match. Not for me. For some reason, even if our air conditioning is on, like it affects my voice. But I ended up losing my voice after that show right there. Like literally, I could barely sing at all, and it took me a while, to about a year or so, to get back to the point where I could use my voice to the point where I could sing to the point that I was kind of satisfied, but I wasn't satisfied, but I was okay because I
Yeah.
still wanted to sing, and so. Yeah, it was a gradual thing. I went to a number of different vocal doctors uh, to try to figure out what was going on. But your vocal cords, they are muscles as well. You know what I'm saying? So um, I started having to uh, work out my vocals. Like the same way I work out, my body, I had to start doing vocal exercises, different techniques when it came to talking, because talking is the thing that we do on a daily basis.
Right.
But so we're steady, constantly using that muscle right there. And so if you overuse it or you overstrain it, which I did, just considering the circumstances of those conditions that I was singing through. It took me a while to work back through that, but I started doing, I found a way to kind of work 2 days out of the week, I do vocal exercises, strengthening, what I mean? Start with, very low notes, and high notes, and then the strong notes and all this. I do that for like an hour, for like a couple times out of the week. And, it's a form of working out. And then, I drink something cold, right after, immediately after, because you stretch it. When I stretch my vocals, you drink something cold, it'll make them, draw back up. And so, um, yeah, so I gotta work out for my vocals just like I do for my biceps and my triceps and my quads and my, that type of thing.
Wow. I don't think I ever knew what exactly happened. I just knew that you had lost your voice, but then, you pushed through to release um, the album Gold Dust. And so after that, like, how long do you think it took you to get back to that point of, okay, I'm back now, my voice is back
It
fully?
took some years, to be honest about it. Like it took, I mean, I'm being honest. If I'm being totally honest, probably, at least 4 years. And I still, sometimes there's certain times that I feel like, although my voice is, I got the strength back and I got my tone back, and I feel like 100, probably, like, I ain't gonna say 100%. Sometimes I feel like 100% myself,
Mhm.
but what I'm saying, I feel, I still kind of feel different things that about my voice, depending on how I use it. Um, that lets me know that, I'm still working my way back to where I once was. And at the same time, I know that I'm aging, and different things like that
Yeah.
as well. Your body changes, and so, which is, like I said, it's very important, the way that I do the vocal exercises. I have to do that. I keep myself to that schedule. Like twice I work out, train with my trainer 3 days a week. I gotta at least give myself 2 days a week. You know what I'm saying? Like doing the
Right.
vocal exercises. So
So how did that affect you mentally though, when you realized like your voice was not where you were used to it being when it first happened? I'm sure that had to do a little mental gymnastics with you, because I think I would be like, oh gosh, now what?
yeah, I didn't know if I was ever going to be able to, sing like I did before. And, it kind of, yeah, there was different things the way that I used my voice that
Mhm.
I couldn't do. And so, that messes with your confidence. It's psychological, like it weighs on you, in a real negative way. But, so I just know that I loved, I still do love singing and, expressing myself through music and, and seeing people um, lives be affected by the different things that the messages that I put in the music. And so um, it was important to me to get back to the point where I could do it and deliver it and be satisfied with the way that I delivered it. Because, I think when we talked back when I did Gold Dust, um, I just got to a point where I could use my voice again to get on tape, to record. I said get on tape, but to record. Uh,
Right.
because before that, I just couldn't do it. Like I say, it was like over like a year and a half. Um, but yeah, I think what I'm saying, like it's psychologically it took a lot. It took a lot out of me. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it definitely to be great at anything. Your confidence level has to be. You have to be in a very comfortable place with your confidence, as far as what you.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I'm back.
Excellent.
I'm back.
Yes, yes, you are. So that brings me to my next question is, so part of that, since you titled it 5 years later, was that just because of that break in between albums? Is that why it's called 5 years later?
It was. That was the in between the albums, and it was a much needed break. Like I said, my workload kind of took over after I released "Can't Let Go." Man, it just things just kind of really took off for me, and I wasn't really getting any kind of break at all. I was traveling, at least 4 days out of the week, and saying that the fifth and the sixth day was travel days for me. I travel home and then I have that one day to chill and I have to get back on the road on that, the seventh day and then you start all over again. So, like I said, it was definitely important to take that break, that mental break, that physical break.
Yeah, so I think 5 years later is a very powerful title. So what does that represent in your personal and professional journey? I mean, I know obviously you said it made you it was because you took that break, but why name the album that?
For me, it represents growth. Um, when I was back in my school days, I used to I had a teacher and he would always ask, in preparing us once we got done. I was going to the career center, took a course over at the career center, and Mr. Emerson, that was my teacher, and he would always ask, like, in prep before we graduated his class, like, 5 years from now, you should think about it, where you want to be, you know. Um, and he said, 5 years from now, no matter what you do, you're gonna be somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be intentional about, the placement in your life and the direction in your life and where you go. Because you're gonna end up somewhere regardless. So
Mhm.
and I always thought about Mr. Emerson when it came to that. But like five years from now, 5 years from where I was before this project, from today, before
Mhm.
today. I'm exactly where it is that I wanted to be, that I want to be, with my career, um, with my physical health, with my mental health, doing things that I wasn't doing 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
you learn and you grow. And so, like I said, 5 years later, it represents growth for me because I'm not where I was, because I'm exactly where I want to be.
I like that. Everyone, make sure you drop those questions in the chat. I see we have another question from Lynette McCallum. She said, after taking your break, do you now have set boundaries to ensure that you don't go back into that space of being overworked? I just added the overworked part. But
I do, but I must say that I am a person that I never shy away from work, but at the same time I set my boundaries for myself. I set those those disciplinary things in my life that to make sure that I do those things that to preserve me from the stress and from overworking and from overdoing anything. And so yeah, I feel like that I'm good when it comes to that. You know.
how did you just kind of think like I need to put, XYZ boundaries in place? Because I think a lot of us struggle with boundaries, whether it comes to, professional or personal. It's hard to put them boundaries in place. Give us some tips. How do we do it?
It's discipline. I mean, you really have to be a disciplined person. I've always been a pretty disciplined person. You know what I'm saying? But when it came to certain things, but um, yeah, I mean, I mean, you just have to force yourself to be disciplined. And you have to realize the benefit of being disciplined and putting those boundaries there, and how it affects you positively. In a
Mhm.
positive way. And those things for me, I needed in my life. So, I'm not like, I don't know what it's like to be a smoker and, not, can't quit, because, there's never been anything that I was doing, like eating certain foods and realized that that food wasn't necessarily good for me. When it comes to that, and once I come to the knowledge of why that it wasn't good for me, it was too easy for me to like, okay, that's it, I'm not eating that anymore. Or if
Mhm.
I was drinking whatever, that drink, it's not good for me, it's not good for my body. It's too easy for me to say, that's it. And so, you have to think of the overall good. You have to think of what's your number one priority? It should always be you, because then everything else comes after you. If you got kids or whatever, your kids are no good if you're no good. You feel what I'm saying? You got to be the best version of yourself so everybody else can benefit from it. So I'm just trying to help everybody else to have to benefit from me. You know what I mean?
That's true. I know this is really random right now because I just thought of this and everybody watching knows I'm real random on here. But when you are doing these like meet and greets and these shows, because I'm always thinking of like all the germs. How do you handle like, the fans and stuff wanting to hug you and touch your hand, kiss your face, do all the things, especially, and I think about it more, especially after COVID.
Yeah.
Um, and knowing you've got to protect your voice and everything else. How do you handle that?
Now that part of that whole situation, so I fall victim to that because I'm such a people person,
Yeah.
and I know when COVID came, I had caught COVID. Matter of fact, from being in the city, I went back too early. You know what I mean? And I was in a very tight environment. They had a small stage, and they had people all around me. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And I got sick, and but once I did and went and got tested and tested positive, and I took the time off from that and recovered, and but I still, it's that's something that I've never really tried to distance myself from people, knowing the risk when it
yeah.
came to COVID, because I feel like this is being who I am, is that's who I am. If I can't be that, then I don't have anything aside
Yeah.
besides making the music. I might as well make the music in the studio and send it out. If I gotta go out and represent that music, I make the music so I can get to the people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, but it's again, you have to set certain boundaries, and you have to think about yourself in all at all times. But for me, when it comes to that, with me, dealing with the people and the germophobia, I'm not a germophobia phobic type of guy, but I always I think about the people. I just love people, and I love them loving on me. There's a
Yeah.
certain relationship that I've always had with I hate calling people. I hate saying fans. You know what I'm saying? With the people that support me. You know what I'm saying? whether they was a fan or not. You know, when we come into each other's presence, you know, there's something special that happens. They recognize me for who I am, being, you know, the type of person that I am, and you know, I take I take love from people, no matter how it's packaged, no matter how, you know, what the risk is, you know.
Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking, I think the last show I saw before the COVID lockdown was your show, actually. I think I went to your show and then the lockdown happened.
Right, right.
And it was a great show, by the way.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it.
um, so can you talk about maybe a track from the album that is especially meaningful to you and why?
They all are, so I'd have to talk about all of them. But no, this particular album, like I said, I was able to for the first time to really just kind of take off and relax into it after trying to do it. I would get started and I would post different a snippet of something. I was in the studio working just to let people know, okay, the album's coming, the album's
Yeah.
coming. What's it coming? I probably would have still been doing that to this day and wouldn't be finished had I not took those 6 months off. But
Mhm.
now, there's a song on there called "Wait on Love." You know, I think that's, for people that's in a relationship with this particular album. It's for people that's in a relationship. Some people that want to be in a relationship. You know, somebody that's got somebody that wants somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because we all need somebody. And so I got this song called "Wait on Love." And the premise of the song is like, sometimes waiting makes love last longer. You know, the longer you wait on something, you know, but when you get it, the better that situation will be. The more you'll value what you have, the more you'll realize, you know what I'm saying, exactly what it is that you wanted. You know, and you'll make sure that, you know, you're getting what you want when you go out and get it, rather than rushing out, getting into a situation that won't last. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
we all looking for, if you're looking for love, you're not looking for love if you're not looking for something that's going to last forever. You know what I'm saying? So wait on love.
Yes, I was like, let me just snap on that one. I love that song on the album, by the way,
Oh,
too.
you
I was
do?
just
Thank
listening
you.
to it.
Thank
Yeah, that was going to be my go-to because that one, um, yeah, because I think when, like you said, when you are in that space of your in that waiting period,
you. Yeah.
that song just, I think there's I'm horrible at lyrics, remembering all the lyrics, but isn't there a part where you're like, let it breathe on you or something
Let
like
it
that?
breathe on you. That's right.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. Let it breathe on you. Get all over you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta internalize that. You gotta, oh man, this is it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
breath of fresh. It's like a breath of fresh air. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, what store do we find love at? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Call 5 years later. You go in there.
Right.
You got it already. You know what, you gotta wait on
Well,
it.
what
It'll come.
message?
You can't go shopping for it. That's the thing. You gotta wait on it. You can't go. Don't go looking for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you go looking
Yeah.
for it, you're gonna look for love in all the wrong places.
Very true. Very true. You're gonna get something that you want you want to take back and ask for a return or get your
Yeah,
money back.
yeah, yeah. You're gonna see something that you're gonna see it the way that you want to see it, but not the way that it really is. You know what I'm saying? So you
Right.
accepting when you're looking for something like, oh man, that's it, right? That's got to be what I'm looking for. But no, no, no.
What message do you hope that now I don't want to call them fans, but anybody listening to the album, what message do you hope they take away from it?
I mean, for me, I hope that they find themselves um, in the music, something, relative to where they are in life or where they've been, and where they want to go, and realize that, so like I said, like, it's life is a journey. You know what I'm saying? You don't start out and get there. It takes time to get anywhere that you're going. You know what I'm saying? So um, you have to take the time to enjoy the journey of life when it comes to love. You know what I'm saying? You have to. It's like um, taking time to smell the roses. I say of life. I'm the rose man. I give out the roses. That's all symbolic. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to take time to appreciate where you are in your life. You know what I mean? What you have in your life. Even if you don't have something specific in your life that you want, it'll come. Like it'll come. You have to look at what you have around you that took time for that to come. You're like, man, appreciate that. And there's so much more to come. And it could be in the form of happiness, love, peace, just good vibes.
Yeah. I mean, you are preaching a good word today, Calvin.
I'm just telling you, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not a very needy person myself, but what I need on a daily, I think, is peace, good vibes, respect, and all of that will give you happiness and love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see a few amens in the chat. I know that's right, co-hosts. I always call them my co-hosts in the chat.
Are they
Um,
co Get your co-host?
yeah. Now you are somebody who inspires so many, including me. Who or what inspires you to keep evolving personally and professionally?
I mean, you see what I see when it comes to the way the world is, the way life is. I have children. My children inspire me to try to make, in my mind, the world a better place. You know what I'm saying? By putting good music. That's what I do. I write about real situations. Like it's a form for me of teaching my kids what life is really about, what's really important. Although I do that on a first-hand basis with them, I don't have the same opportunity with the world. The world is in such a place that what I'm saying, we just have to um, we have to pray to get through it. You know what I'm saying? And um, I think good music makes good people, right? And good people make the world a better place to be in. And so, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to do my part based on what I where I come from, where I've been, and where I'm trying to go. That's my motivation. Like, at some point, the world ain't all that bad, but you know what I'm saying? If it can get better, I'm all for it.
Okay. Well, where can everybody find 5 years later? Let everybody know where to find 5 years later and where to find you.
Oh yeah, well, if you're a streamer, then I mean it's on all the streaming platforms, whether it's Spotify, Amazon, CD Baby, all of them. But if you wanted to order it, it's not in stores. You have to go. You can go to iamcalvinrichardson.com and all things Calvin is there. You can order merchandise, whatever. But the music, and if you see me, you know what I'm saying. Like I know, I don't even know if CDs. Is CDs is like I keep asking myself like, is CDs really a thing? And I think it still. Do people really still play CDs? You know,
I mean, I still have some because I still play
I do.
them. I
Yeah,
I, I play vinyl, so
but my cars and stuff, my vehicle, none of my vehicles, they don't put
yeah,
CD players in cars anymore. But everybody is not driving a car that don't have a CD player, right? So because
yeah,
everything is kind of Bluetooth now, you know what I'm saying? But for the people that still have CD players, like I got in my office in my studio, I got CD player, and
yeah,
she still got CD player. So I kind of make sure that I don't leave my mom out. You
yeah.
know,
I was gonna say you can't leave the parents out.
can't leave the parents out, so we got to make sure it's something that they can relate to. So they can touch and they can feel. So go to iamcalvinrichardson.com and get your CD. And if you see me walking around anywhere, you mess around and run into me in the airport, um, at one of these health food stores, anything like, oh, I heard you got that new album out. When you gonna put some new music out? You can act like you don't even know that it's out there. If you say, when you gonna put some new music out, I'm gonna go in my jacket. Here you go. You know what I'm saying? It's a new album. It's called Calvin Richards 5 Years Later. Check that out.
So I always ask my guests this last question: what feeds your soul?
Um, for me, what feeds my soul is just good music. Like I really love just I just love listening to good music. It don't have to be soul music. It don't have to be, it could be any kind of music. It's good. Like it just moves me in a certain way. You know what I mean? And it makes me feel good. Um, so I don't want to know. I never knew what the world would be without music, and I don't want to know. So that's my motivation to keep doing what I do as well. Like I said, just making good music. Kalamazuke, that's a Greek term for good music. That's what I do.
Oh, okay. Say that again.
Kali Mizuki. Kali
I
K L I M O U S I K I. Kali Mizuki.
Kalamazuki.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You done taught me a new word. I'm about to use it all the time.
I got it tattooed on me. But
Oh, okay. Okay.
so
Well, Calvin, as usual, this has been a great conversation. Thank you for coming by Celebration and chatting and sharing about your journey. I think people don't realize what artists go through mentally, even with their health, vocally, all those things. So it's great to see that you're taking care of you and putting those boundaries in place and making sure that you're making yourself the priority. So keep
yes,
doing that. Keep
yes,
doing
no
that.
doubt. No doubt. Get fit and stay fit, mentally and physically.
Yes, yes. So, everybody, for more information on all things like mental health, nutrition, all those things, head over to blackdoctor.org. There's tons of articles and resources. And I will see you all next week for a celebration. We'll be chatting about mental health in the holidays, especially ways to stay stress free because family and buying gifts and all those things are stressful. So we're going to talk about that next week. So I want you guys to have a soul filled rest of the week, and I will see you then. Calvin, don't hang up. All right,
Okay.
y'all. Bye.